Postcards exclusive for you today from the Mappa Mundi in Hereford Cathedral. Now, we've been allowed and granted permission to stand by the original Mappa Mundi for the interview, but the pictures you see will be of this Victorian replica. It is very much affected by the light, and all the atmosphere around it is created so that it will be preserved forever. So the fact that we're even allowed to stand nearby it with our expert is closer than most television or film crews have ever been allowed to do. You've got a real privilege, Postcard, today, and it's a real privilege for me personally to be here to talk about something that's very close to my heart. All over the Postcard series, I talk about, I see maps as being pictures, works of art as perhaps somebody else sees a Van Dyck or a Rubens or a Botticelli as something beautiful. I've always seen maps as something glorious, and they've always taken pride of place in my home. So if you didn't know that then, you do know it now. So the fact I'm here at, well, you tell us, Dominic, you know about this. Just tell everybody how lucky they are.
Well, this is probably the most recognisable thing from Hereford Cathedral, or indeed Hereford generally, and that is the Hereford Mappa Mundi, which is the oldest medieval world map that is in existence today. It's a single great wall map that would have been in quite common existence in the sort of medieval times. This one dates from 1289. And it's a single sheet of animal skin on which the known habitable world of medieval times has been drawn. Now, if you look at some of those details, you'll see that it's absolutely peppered with strange beasts, animals, creatures, the mythology of the time, the kind of hustle and bustle of the medieval world, and absolutely packed with the different towns and cities that can be seen across Europe, across Asia, even into China.
Do you know what really throws up so many questions to me? I think the biggest question I have for you is, did they know that the world was round by then? Because there were the flat earthers who said that the world was flat, people, if they sailed on their ships, would fall off the side. And yet this is a round map. Are we about the time when people did decide it was round, or is this just pure speculation?
Very interesting. The fact that people thought that the Earth was flat is a misconception that I think we've grown up with. Last year we had a very, very special exhibition and conference here at the cathedral where we brought together all the surviving fragments of medieval world maps contemporary with the Hereford map to look at that as one of those questions that we should explore. One of those fragments actually depicted a medieval army marching around the world. And it was a very clear illustration of the fact that that's exactly what they thought you could do, start from one point and march all the way around the world and end up in the same point again. So that very clearly illustrates that they thought the world was round and it was possible to march all the way around the world. So, as I say, I think it's rather a simplistic view that we've ended up with.
Yeah, I've got a simple mind, and now it's just grown broader. You see, knowledge is a wonderful thing, and it does broaden the mind. Now, you have allowed something very special here. We can't get lights directly onto the map. We wouldn't want to, because it's been around for a very long time. In fact, hanging around for a very long time, because it was down in the crypt. Someone to help me.
Yeah, it's been in various different places within the cathedral, but it has spent time in the North Choir aisle, it's spent time in the crypt, it's actually spent some time being hidden away, possibly under some of the flagstones in the cathedral itself at very dangerous times in its past. But here, now luckily, it has a permanent home in the new library building, which was completed in 1996 by a number of very generous donations from no less than Sir John Paul Getty Jr. and also the National Heritage Memorial Fund, which, as I say, has allowed us to build this purpose-built museum building.
Perfect lighting.
Perfect lighting, perfect temperature control, perfect humidity control. So all that is being managed by a very sophisticated computer system that actually alters the temperature and humidity according to how many people are in this space at any time.
Gosh, I let off a lot of heat normally, so I should think that gauge is working very well. Let's now look at our own islands here, because the British Islands are stuck in that little southwest corner of the map. And it's interesting to see that Lincoln seems to be the capital of all the British Islands to me. Lincoln is huge.
It is, yeah. We've got London as well looking quite impressive. People have always suggested that because Lincoln was so important within the British Isles, that the map was obviously drawn in Lincoln. Hereford, for that matter, appears as a rather insignificant speck that looks as if it's been worn particularly badly throughout the time of the map's history. But this could be explained by the fact that most of the badly worn areas on a map is where the map is situated, so where people want to know exactly where they are. Obviously, wherever the map is located is the most frequently touched. We know that there were a lot of great medieval scriptoriums in Lincoln at the time that the map was made. It's possible that the map was made in Lincoln. It's also possible that the map was perhaps started in Lincoln, brought to Hereford, and then finished. It could have taken up to 20 years to start and through the process of making the map till when it was finished. So that is another option.
Around medieval times, very often pictures or illustrations were used as a kind of play on words. A lot of people perhaps couldn't read or even write, and so therefore by using an illustration or a picture it made something much easier to understand. The Mappa Mundi, for instance, is full of these puns, and here we have one of the bishops of Hereford Cathedral, John de Swinfield. Take Swinfield and you get Swinefield. Now, he would have known about the Mappa Mundi because he was a contemporary of that fabulous, famous map. But look how his tomb is a real play on words, because we have swine here adorning his tomb, and they're all wearing little winter woolies. Well, actually, they're wearing the coat of arms of the Dean of Hereford. And they're in a field. Can you see all the leaves and the greenery? So you have swines, pigs in a field, and you have John de Swinefield, de Swinfield. One of the most interesting things, and of course during the times of the creation of this map, it would have been the monks who would have been able to read and write. Do we therefore presume that this is totally a Christian perspective because of Jerusalem in the centre? The geocentric pattern of this map shows Jerusalem at the heart of it.
It does. It goes a little bit deeper than that, really, because, as I say, it shows the kind of marketplace of medieval life. It very clearly has this Anglo-Christian perspective, which is quite literally a perspective, because Jerusalem is shown as the only city that you're looking down on. Every other city around drawn around the map is in profile, but Jerusalem is the one city that you look down on. And then again, this sort of mantle over the top of the map, which shows the day of judgment with Christ in majesty, or the good people being resurrected by angels, and on the right-hand side, all the bad people going down into the jaws of death there. So that is very much the perspective. But within that, you have all the colour, all the comings and goings, all the very strange beliefs and customs of the medieval social culture.
Is the Red Sea really red because they thought the Red Sea was red? Or is it just a little bit of colour, which was added by the monks?
It's interesting to think of the map as, or functioning in the same way as a stained glass window. It's a very visual language that's taking place. The Red Sea, in that respect, obviously has to be red. It's the same reason why a swordfish, for example, that's shown on the map, is seen swimming through the Mediterranean, not with the sword on the end of his nose, as we would imagine it, but in his scabbard on his side. So, again, a very visual language going on.
Myths and legends, contemporary life, geography we know at the day. The first place I found, for some strange reason, my eyes were taken completely to Venice, a little island. And talking about islands, Scotland is depicted as an island from England on this, isn't it?
Yeah, particularly important if you think about the time that the map was made. This is the reign of Edward I. It's politically very important time within the country, and not surprising that Scotland would be seen as an island.
What other parts of this map, Dominic, really do please you, really make you so excited that you've had charge of this? You've been able to look at it day after day, which to some people might be boring, but to many exciting. You're excited still by this map, aren't you?
Very much so. I think an area of the map which will always remain alive is the area known as the area of monstrous races. You see people with heads in their shoulders, people with 4 eyes, races of people with 1 eye, races of people with 1 foot, and very, very strange concoctions of folklore and mystery, or perhaps stories that somehow became changed and became reinterpreted into some of these very strange drawings. They're the sort of things that give the map its real mystery and life. I'm sure there's a decoding language that we've lost, and a lot of these pictures would have meant something to the people who would have seen it when it was originally drawn, but now they're very mysterious to us. They leave us guessing, and I like that. It's quite a puzzle in some of the places.
Yeah.